Advocacy with anonymity, how to talk about your recovery without identifying a specific group or pathway or thing that you've done. So there's also a lot of great media training tools that are out there. If you look at Faces and Voices of Recovery, they have messaging training and really a lot of tips and tricks on how to talk about the positive aspects of recovery without getting trapped into telling war stories about, you know, all the terrible things that have happened to us. Let's just assume that addiction is not a good thing, that recovery is a good thing. And so what are the positive parts of recovery? So great tools for how to be able to give a reporter a story without telling the horrors of addiction, but instead focusing on the joys of recovery. If you're interested in finding local resources and organizations that are involved, the internet is a great place to start. But generally speaking, if you have a recovery community organization, that's a capital RCO, and you put recovery and advocacy and look near you and find who's doing some advocacy. If you're mainly interested in mental health, NAMI has some great resources, but there's also some other organizations that are doing mental health. Addiction or substance use disorder advocacy, or a blended co-occurring substance use and mental health. Great organizations at the local level that have trainings, materials, and opportunities to be able to advocate. In the month of September in the United States is National Recovery Month. There's lots of resources that the federal government put. If you look at recoverymonth.gov, and it has toolkits on how to plan a Recovery Month event. It has calendars of Recovery Month events close to you and some that are maybe a little bit farther, national hub events. There's often rallies that are happening that you can get everything from face painting to listening to concerts to registering to vote to hearing their various candidates running for public office talking about having to answer questions from the recovery community. So if you can find an opportunity to get involved with a local advocacy organization that's doing candidate presentations in the political season for candidates to have to answer questions from the recovery community is super good way to make sure that they are paying attention to recovery issues. Some organizations will put together voter guides of those lawmakers that are more recovery friendly on our issues, and being able to look at those type of resources can help you organize your neighborhood, your friends, and the recovery community to be able to get out and vote for candidates that support recovery instead of criminalizing addiction and mental health issues. So for those that are looking for organizations to be able to get engaged with, get some training, learn how to do advocacy, participate with others that are driving a recovery advocacy message. On the national level, there's a number of organizations, but a good place to start would be Facing Addiction, Faces and Voices of Recovery. For those interested in mental health by itself is NAMI, which is the National Association of Mental Illness. But looking locally is I'm in Nevada and on the board of directors for Foundation for Recovery. We have a great board, great staff, and a ton of volunteers that are all very excited about advocacy movement, and our website will be in the bottom of this video. But If you aren't able to find it in the resources we put here, go out onto the internet and start doing some of that. If there's not a local organization doing it, there's some recovery community organization toolkits. Go start one. There's a ton of tools and resources to be able to start beginning your recovery advocacy adventure. And I encourage you to be proud, speak out loud, and talk about your recovery. If you're in a 12-step organization, I encourage you not to talk about it. I come from a 12-step tradition, but I don't talk about the organization that I'm a member of when I'm doing recovery advocacy. What unites us is our goal to have a recovery policy agenda on the national, state, and local level. What unites us is to have the stigma of addiction and mental health reduced. At this point in our society, for the stigmatization of addiction and mental health, which are legitimate health concerns, to be treated as a moral deficiency or as a choice is ridiculous. It's time to demand change, and it's time to demand civil rights for all of those that are seeking recovery from substance use disorder and mental health challenges.